If you want me to wait. Might want to. With dust. Get ball with N. Get a dodge pure mem get N. Watch like a dust. J.A. Matthew. You with two dust. And go to together. J for women.
Hey!